or the red pen.
Hello. Okay, well, a viewer wrote to me and said this. Hello, I have been going through this point in my life where I feel like I have no motivation, no confidence, and I'm at a loss as to what to do with my life, career or lack thereof, and everything really. I have been trying to handle it myself, but it's really been putting a strain on my relationships and with my schooling, so I decided recently to try my hardest to use magic to help me out. I don't like using magic for everything unless it's like the only option I have left. I did ask my runes and tarot this morning if it's something that I should look into, and they said to trust my faith and to guide me, in my faith to guide me, and to leap into the unknown. I trust in your advice. I was wondering if you knew of anything that could possibly help me with finding myself, I guess. I just really lack motivation for anything, and I know I have no confidence. It would be very much appreciated. Well, one thing I'm wondering is, to you, reader who wrote this, is do you suffer from depression? Because if you do, you might want to try St. John's wort pills. I know that they actually do help in those kind of situations, so you might first want to try that. But yes, actually we will just go ahead and do some kind of motivation / anti-depression affirmation. Those always help, because what's happening is, what could be happening is that your, well, psychology calls it, the conflict between the ego and the superego, but really, in magic, we know it as, especially in Strageria and Threskia, basically, we know it as pretty much your consciousness fighting against your demona, or your higher self. And in the process of this of this fighting, excuse me, so to speak, you get bogged down. Nothing really happens. And you know about the tarot. I wouldn't be surprised if you got the Fool card in some of your tarot cards, because actually that's the state you're in. Is the Fool, or the Hangman. Actually, the Hangman will probably be better, because the Hangman sometimes represents stasis, a needed standstill, so that growth later on can occur, because that's just the position you need to be in right now. But sometimes it's hard to get beyond that Hangman, and that's kind of the situation you're in. You want to move on, but it's just that you're still at that standstill point. So can we get you to move out of the standstill point? That's with magic, and the answer is yes. But only through, communication with your higher self, with your demona, can this happen. And the demona, I see it as this. I mean, there's a few theories out there, but I really see the demona is kind of like what the Egyptians call the Ka. It is the part of you that goes on after, after you die. And not all of you goes on after you die. Just your higher consciousness. And that's what we're dealing with here. The higher consciousness. The part of you that can learn and that will be going on. The spiritual lessons are contained in the demona, etc., etc. We must communicate with your higher self. And hopefully, your consciousness and higher self will come to an agreement, I guess you could say, outside the realms of consciousness. So this is what it is. It's kind of like a meditation or an affirmation at the unconscious level. Even though you're conscious. I know. Kind of like really, really intense stuff here. Really deep. Yeah. But that's what it is. Alright, I decided what we're going to do. I looked up some quotations from Aristotle. And one quotation goes like this. Okay. All human actions have one or more of these 7 causes. chance, nature, compulsion, habit, reason, passion, and desire. Now, Eve, how do these relate to you? Eve, or anybody who's listening, how do these 7 causes relate to you? And how in depth can we get into these causes with affirmations? I told you this was deep. Okay, so here we go. What I'm going to do is come back and we're going to do a candlelight affirmation to these 7 things. And during those affirmations, you can think about how this applies to you. You can put it in the affirmations if you want to. So you're going to listen to my affirmation and you're going to change it how you want to. Fine. Okay. This is not do as I say kind of thing. You can change it around a little bit to suit your will. And yeah, I think this is going to be a really great affirmation exercise, basically. So, be right back. So the music in this affirmation exercise that I'm going to be playing is by Scott Helland and his band. And I'm going to try to put a link to the right, that way, of his website. And also, I think he's a friend of mine on MySpace, or MySpace and actually on YouTube, I think. And then, what else? Oh yeah, while I'm doing this affirmation, why don't you get a white candle and do the affirmation with me? So, that's how this is done.